What is going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. A few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Latest smack down, like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and a message out. Do it now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are live Monday to Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Punchy.tv. And at any point during the show, you can call in 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we can get into it. Whatever you want to talk about, we can get into it. And if for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV, or go directly to the YouTube live chat, hit the super chat button there, send your question or comments in, and I'll read them live on air. All right? All right, what's today? Today's Tuesday. What does that mean? True Crime Tuesdays. Listen, I wasn't here last week, so we missed the true crime. But today we are back at it and we're getting into it. All right? We got to do it. We got to do it. So with that being said, I want to jump right into the true crime, tell a little story. Because there's this girl who went missing. Man, oh man, oh man. Erica Bennett. As you guys see in the thumbnail, I saw this movie, and in the movie they were describing this true story, right? And this girl named Erica Bennett was 15 years old, and she went missing. Before she went missing, she was living with her mother, who was single. Her parents were divorced. The mother and father, according to the story, were at odds. They weren't getting along. They divorced. And the daughter, Erica, was living with her mother, single mother, and younger brother, right? So she was the older daughter. And she started seeing this boy, right? This 21-year-old boy. Mind you, she's 15. She started seeing this 21-year-old boy. And the mother don't like this, right? The mother don't like this. The daughter's like, I'm in love. I love him so much. He understands me. He thinks about me. And the 21-year-old boy also, felt the same way, right? He genuinely loved her, as genuine as he can be at 21, right? He meant well, loved her back. But the mom didn't like this, right? For one, it was illegal. It's illegal. You cannot date a minor under the age of 18. If you're over the age of 18, you cannot do that. It's against the law. So the mother didn't like this. Also, the mother was scared because there was a story going around around town at the time of another missing girl, right? And they don't know what happened to her. She had just been missing for months, and that was the story of the town. So the mom was afraid of that. So she didn't want the daughter to do nothing to do with the boyfriend, right? She didn't want that. She wanted her daughter to be safe. So she told the daughter to stop seeing the boy. Daughter kept doing it anyway, of course, right? The daughter is, seemingly angry, looking for love. So she sees the boy anyway, sneaks behind the mom's back, sees the boy anyway. Mom finds out she doesn't like it. So the mom at this point is like tick, right? The mom thinks that she's helping the daughter by telling the daughter, you cannot see this boy. He's not good for you. It's not safe. It's against the law. You're not doing it, right? And obviously in her mind, she's thinking that she's helping the girl, right? Helping her daughter make the right decisions. But so her intentions are in the right place, seemingly, but what she's actually doing, the mother is just trying to control the daughter. And what does that make you do as a child? Make you want to rebel. So anyway, mom had enough. She's done. She's ticked. She's through. She can't get a handle on it. She tried to ask the dad to get involved. Dad tries to get involved. Daughter ain't listening to daddy either. All right, so what does she do? Mom calls the cops. Like, listen, I need y'all to get my daughter, because she's seeing this 21-year-old boy, and it ain't right. It just ain't right, right? Cops go to the boy's house, scare him, right? Boy's scared. He's like, listen, I don't want nothing to do with this stuff. And I love her, and that's it. I'm not trying to do nothing with her. No fishy stuff here. But the cops scare the boy. The boy breaks up with her, right? They break up. I think a couple months later, Erica goes missing, right? Mom is freaking out. She's wondering why she didn't come back home from school. She's gone, right? She goes missing. Then days pass, then weeks pass, then months pass. No sign of Erica, right? The mom keeps going to the police. The police are like, listen, we're going to do our best that we can. We have other things going here, but we're going to do our best to try to find her. Months continue to pass. No sign of Erica. Where's Erica? Erica, where you at, girl? No sign of Erica, right? Can't find her. At this point, mom is getting fed up. She's frustrated, right? She's like, where's my daughter? So she makes the police do a press conference, right? Do a press conference. If you don't do a press conference, I'm going to do it myself, and it's going to look bad on the city. So the cops are like, oh, shoot, we got to do this press conference, right? It's all about reputation, Lord. So they do the press conference. Mama gets on TV, and mama's like, baby, Erica, if you're out there, mama love you. I miss you, baby. Please come home. I can't wait to see you again. Life is not the same without you. Think about your brother. Think about your dog. We all miss you, right? The whole thing. And still, no sign of Erica, right? 2 years pass. Nothing. I think it's like 2 years past, right? My timeline may be a little bit off, but I'm telling the correct story, right? 2 years pass. They find out that 6 other girls have gone missing, right? 6 other ones. At this point, they're suspecting there's a serial killer on the loose, right? Serial killer taking girls and doing whatever, right? They find the serial killer, right? They arrest him. Serial killer releases the locations of all the bodies that he buried or buried the young girls he took, right? On the list is Erica Bennett's name, right? So the cops go and they look on the locations. They find all the bodies of the girls went missing, except Erica Bennett's, right? And but yet, nonetheless, her name was on the list that the serial killer put. So the cops find all the bodies except Erica, and then the cops go to the mother and it's like, listen, I got some news to break to you. We found all the bodies of the girls that were missing. They were all dead. And then the mother's like, well, what about Erica? Did you find Erica's body? Like, no, we didn't find Erica's body, but we just want to let you know now, more than likely, she's gone, and you guys should just accept that. And the mom's like, I'm not accepting that. You didn't find my daughter? Then that means she's still alive. My gut tells me that my daughter is still out there alive, and I refuse to accept this. And the cop's like, I understand how you feel, Mrs. Whatever her name is, because she's divorced. But I'll have you know, more than likely, it's looking like she's gone. And then mom's like, say what you want to say. I'm not believing it. So time goes on, and now they're in trial, right? They're going through trial. And the mom is convinced her daughter is still alive, right? And so they're going to trial. A year passes, right? A year passes. Now they're at 3 years. 3 years, no sign of Erica. A year passes. Mom is not losing hope. They go to trial, right? To convict this serial killer that killed all these girls. They go to trial. Mom's in trial, and they're about to sentence the serial killer. They name off all the names. And then right before the sentencing, one of the people, I don't know what they call them, right? The defendant, no. The lawyer, no. I think the lawyer's assistant is like, wait. You know, it talks in the lawyer's ear like, and the lawyer stands up and is like, wait, before you sentence, I just got news in that Erica Bennett was not one of the girls that was killed by said serial killer. And everybody's like, right? Everybody's shocked, like, what's up? Then door is open. Erica Bennett walks in the courtroom, right? And everybody like, what the? She's standing there, walks in. And mom just like, now listen, mind you, because I had when this part happened, I had to pause it, and I had asked little C, I was like, what would you do as a mother in this situation, right? Your daughter's been gone for 3 years, right? Not a word saying to, and she just walks in the courtroom. What is your reaction, right? And I asked her, and I thought of my reaction as like, well, I thought what maybe because I didn't want to think of what I would do or what a dad would do. I was like, what would a mother do? So I came to the conclusion, you guys let me know what you think, that, and then I'm gonna get back to the story, that a mother's first reaction is not, she's just gonna be happy that her daughter is alive. She ain't thinking about like, girl, what's wrong with you? She ain't thinking about why would you do this to me? Mother's first reaction, in my opinion, is she's just gonna be happy that the daughter is alive. So that's exactly what happens. She runs up to her, hugs her. Runs up to her. No, she didn't pass out, Mark. She didn't pass out, but she runs up to her and hugs her. And is like happy to see her. And the daughter's, Erica's like, I'm so sorry, and blah, 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 blah. And so and so and so forth. And then Erica, you know, throughout the movie starts to explain what happened. And briefly, what happened was she ended up living with the boyfriend. She wouldn't move with the boyfriend. Okay, that 21-year-old, she wouldn't move with him. And when the cops went to the house to to scare the 21-year-old and say, you need to break up with her, he lied and said that he had broken up with her, but she was hiding in I don't know, a closet somewhere in the house, right? And when the cops left, he panicked, right? According to the movie, he panicked. He's like, listen, we can't do this, right? We can't do this anymore. You got to go back home. And she begged. She's like, no, I love you so much. I don't want to be home. I want to be with you. Can you just take care of me? Because he had his own house and stuff like that. He was doing his own thing, right? She's like, please, 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 I want to be with you. So he falls for it, right? He falls for it and keeps her, right? And then now they're seeing it, you know, all over the news while all this was happening. While this is during the 3 years, right? They're seeing all over the news, and they're seeing that she's missing. Cops are looking, and now they start to get scared. She's like, I gotta confess this. So long story short, the whole time she wanted to go confess, but she was scared that he was gonna go to jail and that she was going to be in trouble. So she let it go on for 3 whole years. Mind you, guess what? His house was a mile from her house. So the mom is freaking out, stressed out for 3 years, maybe depressed. Whole family like in shambles, right? Because you know how that's usually how it happens. And the whole time, she's just a mile down the street. Okay, everything's all fine. Living with her boyfriend. 21-year-old boyfriend. Everything is all fine. So mom finds out about that. She gets a little tick. Boyfriend goes to jail, right? For harboring a minor. They don't say how long he was in there, but he got out and he looked the same age. So I don't know if he was in there that long. right? And they get together after he gets out. They get together and mom forgives, all is forgiven. Mom forgives both of them. Mom invites them over for a barbecue dinner. This is after it all happened, right? And everything goes back to normal. And everything seems to be fine. And mom is just like, I'm just happy you're alive and we're all good again, type of thing. And my question is for you guys. I want to ask you guys, and you guys can call in if you want to give your answer. You can send a super chat if you want to give your answer. I probably won't catch all the answers by reading chat. So it's up to you. But I want to ask chat right here. I want to ask you guys, who do you think, 2 questions I want to ask. Who do you guys think is to blame? Okay. Do you think it's the parents who are to blame for the fact that the daughter took off with this boy and didn't say anything? She ran away for 3 years, right? For 3 years. And by the time they confessed, she was 18, right? So she was a legal adult. Is the parents to blame for that? Or is she to blame for taking off? Right? I see some people saying the girl. I want to know what you guys think. And also, I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that the parents are at fault. I think that the daughter is also at fault. But the reason why I think the parents are at fault is because the daughter is looking for love. She's looking for love. She's lost, right? And she's thinking that she thought that this 21-year-old boyfriend was going to save her. And he might have. You got to understand this, though. You got to understand this, is that this young girl is in this situation where she hates being a home. She hates being alive, right? She doesn't want to be there. She is not happy with herself. And now she has this newfound love for this man, this young man. And he loves her back, seemingly, right? And they think that they love each other. Why would she not want to go with that? Where things seem better, things are she's happier, or whatever the case is. Why would she not want to go to that, right? Now, mind you, she wasn't really happy because they were scared the whole time, right? They thought they were going to get caught. She had to stay inside all 3 years. She didn't even get to go outside. She was getting paranoid because she was starting to freak out because she didn't see no sunlight. She couldn't buy no clothes. So there was no peace there at all. Zero happiness. The boyfriend was scared because he thought he was going to get caught at every turn. And so that he was panicking. He was paranoid. So it was just hell to pay through this whole 3 years, right? But in her mind, she was just trying to escape. So I think the parents are to blame because she was lost, but she is to blame because at 15, she knows enough to know what's going on. She knows enough to know that it's not smart to run away. She knows enough to know that that she should have confessed a long time ago, right? So I think both are fault, but the parents got to start taking accountability here. And we don't rarely see that happen. We most oftentimes, we see the parents blaming the children, like, she's just bad. She's just a bad child. But they fail to recognize that they played a big part. Now, I ain't saying all of it is their fault, right? I know kids and young teens that they are responsible for themselves for the most part. You know what I mean? That they weren't coerced, but parents play a big part. So what do you guys think? Who's to blame? My first question. My second question for you guys, for chat. Okay? When it comes to the age, he was 21 and 15. Was that wrong? Even if they meant well by it, even if their intentions were in the right place, was it wrong, right? And are there exceptions to the rule? That's my question for you guys. I want to know what you guys think about that. Because some will say that it's fine, right? As long as they mean well, they mean each other, he's not trying to harm her or take advantage of her. He's not trying to do it for personal gain. Some will say as long as they're into each other and they mean well, what's the problem? What's the problem, right? Some will say. But then there's an opposing argument to where maybe most fathers make, or the fathers are like, but wait, I know how men's mind think, right? I know how a man's mind operates. And he is too old for my daughter. And also, her 15-year-old mind is just lost in lust and love and fluff and feelings. And she can't see clear. She can't think straight. And a 21-year-old boy or a 24-year-old or 25 or 6, whatever it is, he's too mature. And when these two meet, it's only going to create heartbreak for the girl, right? In some way, she's going to be heartbroken. Some people will say that as well, right? And the question is, which one? What is right? Which one's right? Which one's wrong? Are any of them right or are any of them wrong? That's a Joel Friday TV argument, right? Or are there exceptions to the rule? I would love to know what you guys say. Call in 888-775-3773 or buymeacoffee.com/Joel Friday TV or super chat on YouTube. Send me your comments, question or comments, and we can get into it. Let me go to David out of Ocala, Florida. He wants to get in on this. David, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Joel, man, I just had to call you about this, since you're talking about that girl.
Yes.
I had a daughter. When my youngest daughter was 15, she's like 35 now.
Okay.
She didn't even get one credit in the 9th grade, this kid, okay? So I'm trying to get her straight and everything like that. And one morning I come in to get her ready for school. She done jumped out. She done opened up the window of her bedroom and jumped out, and her room was like 50 degrees in there, okay? And ran away.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't know where this girl was. My daughter was for 2 months, man, okay?
Oh, wow.
All right. Oh, yeah. So, about gave me an ulcer, So anyway, sorry, man, I got something caught in my throat. Anyway, so she finally calls me up, right? She calls me up on the phone, and she says, Dad. And I said to her, listen, the next time you run away, shut your window. And I made her go stay with her mom, and I never let her come back home.
Interesting. So you, 2 months, and I'm not here to say that it's less or more, but to you and your perspective, 2 months, there was nothing in you that wanted to be like, I'm glad you're okay, like the mother in the story, or...
Well, there had been a bunch of other stuff happen. Like, she got taken away from her mother and sent to a state institution for 6 months, okay? Actually, I think it was about 9 months when she was 12. So now, she got out of that, and she was all straightened up. And within a matter, I had to get custody of her. And within a matter of about 9 months, man, she went south, okay, real quick. It's the kids, it's the other kids, besides them being screwed up, they get around the wrong people, and that's who takes your children out, man, is those, helps take your children out.
Yeah.
But, so there was more to it. It's just the fact that, she, anyway, so she's 35 years old now, and she's still a mess. Now, my oldest one is 2 years older than her, and she's a nurse. And she's a very professional and all that. So, sometimes these kids, they just take, they want to do what they want to do, and nobody's stopping them.
Okay, let me ask really quick, just to get some details. So, the oldest one and the younger one, were they both raised by the same way, by the same parents?
Yeah, they were both. They got taken away from me, man, when they were real little. I talked to Hank about this before, but and their mother had custody of them, and The oldest one time, I picked her up at her high school, and I knew she was on something.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm from the streets, man. I know when my kid's on something. And
Yeah.
I sat there in the car and debated with her for 15 minutes about what she was taking, and she just, she wouldn't come clean. And finally, I found out back then. This was in probably right at around 2002 or something like that, early 2000s. These kids were drinking Robitussin cough syrup and smoking dope. And that's what I could smell. I could literally smell it coming out of her pores, man. So that's why, Joel, that's why they made it. A kid can't go buy a bottle of cough syrup.
Yeah. Because they were getting away with all that stuff. Do you blame yourself at all, or do you think that it was out of your control?
Dude, I took them and put them. Okay, they didn't know anything but dysfunctional behavior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When a child, there's a lot of women like this too. Okay. They can't have a normal life. They'll self-destruct. They'll destroy their life right in front of you. Okay, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can take a child out of a real bad environment and put them in a good environment. Some of them will make it, but I would have to say about 75% of them will go sideways because that's all they know.
Well, do you think that you had a part to play in it at all as a father?
No, because I tried to get them when they were. I did everything I could, man. When I was 25 years old, I spent $3,000 trying to get them.
Yeah.
And the judge, just back then, they brought my ex-wife in a white dress, and they sold the judge, and I understand. But he didn't know what was going to happen to my children. And shoot, man, by the time my kids were both my daughters were both 12 years old, they had been drugged through the mud. And there wasn't nothing I could do about it.
And I'm just asking questions here.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Do you think that the separation? I don't know if you guys were married or not to the mother. We were married. The divorce, or maybe the conflict between you and the mother, played a part at all in the behavior of the children.
Yes, and here the problem is their mother was a drinker, okay, and she really started drinking right about the time we split up. That's really what, anyway. So they had an alcoholic mother who didn't mother them. I would come over, one time I went to come over to pick up my youngest daughter. Her room was so messed up. I told her, we're not leaving until you clean this room up.
Right, but
I tried to be the parent, but you can't. See, I got them every other weekend. You can't raise a child 2 days. 2 days.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's unfortunate when fathers aren't able to stay in the picture, and especially when the mothers maybe keep them from them, and the fathers don't have these visits, and the courts get involved, and that's unfortunate. But there is a responsibility that I believe fathers play, and you correct me if I'm wrong, in that why did it even get to that point? And is there anything that you can say that you did outside of the mother, right? Because the mother has her issues for sure. But is there any part that you played as a father that maybe dropped the ball that allowed that could have caused the young girls or the young girl to go out of control or to turn away?
Well, I had I got remarried, and I got tired of my second wife being drugged through this mess. Okay, so I sort of, here's the thing. I would get my children on the weekends, and I would take them and go get their haircuts. I'd go buy them new clothes. I'd buy them new shoes. I did everything that way that their mother wasn't, really doing that, even though she was getting child support.
Yeah.
I took them to church. Dude, I did the whole thing. But they can't be in an environment for 12 days and then come into another environment for 2 days and you straighten them up. I literally had to tell my second wife, listen, you got to back off these kids because you're not going to fix them in 2 days.
Yeah.
They even went and saw psychiatrists. The whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
They went the whole thing, bro.
No, I believe you. And it sounds like that you tried to do what you can with the small time that you had and to try to make the best of the situation. But it still feels like you're not, and I could be wrong there, it still feels like you're not being entirely honest about, and maybe on air is not the place to do it, but that you're not being entirely.
I'm not saying I was 100% perfect. I mean, here's the thing: if I only had one daughter, my oldest one, okay, they would have had to kill me to take her away from me. But two of them, they wore me down, man.
Yeah.
You know, you just get wore down, and you finally sort of give up. Yeah. I know men that just totally walk away from their kids because of that.
Yeah, because they're trying all that they can, but it's not working. I understand that. I understand that.
Will say, I'll let you go with this. I will say I don't agree with Jesse 100% about nothing. Okay, probably about 75% of the stuff he says I agree with, but I will tell you one thing I do agree with him is the mothers trying to turn them children against their fathers.
Yeah, I've heard too many stories. I have personal stories to relate to. I've heard too many stories here at Bond. I believe it, David, and it's just that nature that can't help but to want to make the man pay. But fair enough, David. I appreciate that. Good point.
One thing, I just want to let you know, man. We have a super great relationship right now. My children got older. They realized that I was a good father.
Right on.
They love me very much. Okay, so y'all take care. Have a great day.
Right
Thanks
on.
for letting me call you about this.
Right on. And I wish you well with that, David. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, man.
All right. Crazy stuff. You know, it's I've seen it in my own life it really comes down to when Jesse talks about the parents in the home, it's really like I can't even explain how big of a part that plays, because even if the parents break up, and I'm not speaking about David's situation, I don't know all the details, but even if parents break up and they break up without making their arguments shown, they're not displaying their anger towards each other, they don't do it in front of the kids, whatever. Even if they break up, the kids feel that, right? Because something's missing, something's off to them. They sense it in their spirit, because it's all spiritual. They sense it in their spirit, and they know that something's off here, right? Why are mom and dad not together, right? They have questions, right? And it's not even them having questions. They're just wondering why there's emptiness within, right? Why am I at dad's house today? And then why am I at mom's house most of the week, or vice versa? Why is this way? Why is this dynamic this way? They have questions, right? And then they rebel because they're confused, right? That confusion brings conflict. I remember when I was younger, I used to pray that I was like, please let my parents get back together, please. And I don't even remember them breaking up. I was like 4, right? I don't remember them breaking up. I don't remember them fighting. I don't remember none of it. But I remember all the way till I was probably old enough to understand that, okay, I need to stop praying for this. I prayed years and years and years that my mom and dad would get back together. I prayed for it. It just was something in me. I wasn't knowledgeable about life. Wasn't knowledgeable about marriage or how it's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to work, relationships. But just something in me knew that something was off here. Children know, right? And it affects them far deeper than what most parents think. That's why it's important that before having children, you are working on yourself. That way, children is intentional. You know what I mean? Children is not an accident. Children is not a oops. Children is not like, oh, I just want something to hug and kiss, right? You don't want that either, right? I know people who got it because they feel like their time is ticking or whatever. I know people who have that, and the children suffering the price. They're paying for it, right? You want to make sure that you're good with yourself, your husband is good, or your wife is good, your marriage is good, and you guys have a solid foundation, right? You guys are solid. And don't mean that you guys don't make mistakes. It doesn't mean that challenges don't come. But when challenges come, it may like rock you a little bit, but the house doesn't fall. You want to get to at least that place, right? At least that place. So when challenges come, you can take them on and not fold. And then, if it's in God's will, you have children so they can grow up properly. But that's not happening. There's some that do it that way. Very few, because God said there's only a few who find that straight and narrow path and who live the proper way. Very few, but it's possible. And we need to get back to that. You know what I'm saying? Because, Satan busy too. Satan ready. That's why we got to know ourselves, know God, know who we get involved with. You don't have to, so then that way you don't have to do this whole prenup thing. Don't get me started. But if you want to do the prenup thing, that's fine too. But I'm just saying. You should be able to know these things. Know that you know that you know that you know that you know. So you can stand on it and be confident in what you got. And nobody can make you feel no type of way. Nobody can, social media can't destroy your kids because your kids won't be on it all crazy like that. In moderation, they'll do things, right? The world won't destroy your kids, right? Because they're solid, because you're solid, and they're learning on the way, and the light is walking with them. God in one hand, parents in the other. You know what I'm saying? You won't have to worry about OnlyFans. You don't have to worry about porn getting to your children. It will, and if it does, they'll be able to handle it properly. Meaning that that sounds bad, but meaning that it won't enter into them. It won't ruin them because they'll recognize that this is something off with this. Ew. You know what I mean? They'll be protected. So that's all I'll be trying to say, y'all. But back to the point. I'm getting some super chats. Back to my question. Is there exceptions to the rule with the age thing? If she's underage, is she allowed to date somebody that's overage, even if it's a couple years, even if it's a bunch of years? Because you could get married underage with your parents' permission. Are there exceptions to the rule, or is it wrong across the board? I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys think. Help me out. And then towards the end, I'll give you guys my opinion on it. Let me check the super chats real quick here. Oh, shoot. While I have it, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to do a little poll. Of daughter I don't know how to put it. Are there exceptions to the rule with girl being a minor? Are there exceptions to the rule with guy dating girl who is under 18? I'm not going to say minor because that just sounds like, I mean, I guess that's what it is. Are there exceptions to the rule with guy dating girl who was under 18? Hold on. I've heard many stories. So I want to see what you guys think. Let me check the super chats. Kale says the daughter is at fault because she is above 13. Interesting. Kale says the daughter is at fault for running away and should suffer the consequence because she's above 13. I don't disagree with that, Kale. I think above 13 is where you kind of have your own mind to some degree, you know? I don't disagree with that. But Kale, do you think that the parents are at fault at all? Is what I'm wondering. Let me see. Let me check. Ha ha ha. What are you guys saying on interesting. Interesting stuff. Eric Harlan with a donut says, on Buy Me a Coffee, by the way, children's behavior is a direct reflection of the parenting. You have 18 years to develop at least one defining skill in your child. If your child isn't exceptional at something of the long-term value, you messed up. Interesting. I tend to agree with that too, Eric. 18 years is long enough. And I'm not saying parents aren't imperfect, that they make mistakes, and some are blind and can't see. Listen, but at some point, that's not an excuse. And I don't think we should paint that as an excuse. Yeah, forgive all people, blind, lost, broken, hurt, can't see, right? So we are not to hate anyone, right? But we also are not to make excuses for anyone. You know what I mean? We can't blame it all on the devil. They should take responsibility, but we shouldn't hold it against them. And that's hard to do. But to me, it just seems like proper. But Lord have mercy. Linian Chin says, legally, this is a super chat on YouTube, legally 15 or 16 is the legal age of a girl consenting to be with a man older than 18, with parents giving their consent to the specific guy. Interesting. 15 or 16 is the legal age of a girl consenting to be with a man older than 18. Okay, so on the poll here, I'm getting an equal amount of yeses and nos on whether or not there's an exception to the rule with a guy dating a girl who was under 18. 21 was perfect when I was 15. Well, it's different for a guy and a girl, I think. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys what I think. I think oftentimes young ladies today are not mentally prepared for life, right? And they're out looking for love. And when they meet an older guy, right? Let's just say he's really older. First I'll say this. If there's a smaller gap, I think those are more exceptions, right? I think that it's best that a guy waits till she's 18, right? But there's exceptions to when there's a smaller gap. Let's just say he's 18, she's 16, or something like that. 2 to 3 years, I don't find it the problem as long as the situation is vetted by the parents, right? But let's just say if there's a bigger age gap, right? More than 3 years, then I think that when a guy is older and the girl is younger, and the girls typically today, they're not really mentally mature. What happens is they get sprung, right? Because all girls spiritually, well, I don't know about that, but even worldly way, girls love older guys, right? Because of what it represents, right? It represents that they can be led in the proper way. It represents maturity, confidence. Girls love that. And what happens when they find that, they just get hooked, right? They're looking for love. They get hooked and they become attached to this man. They're sprung. But what happens is that there's not a common sense approach to this man, right? They're not keeping space there. You know what I mean? They're not being conscious of their behavior and their feelings, right? They're just lost in it. And what happens is if the older man does one thing that makes them feel like he doesn't like them or love them, they're all over the place. They're gone. They're heartbroken. And it doesn't even have to be anything major. It could just be something small, right? Something little. But because the young girl whose mind is underdeveloped is so attached to this boy, anything he says or does is like life or death to her. Right? So what happens is, let's just say they go as far as to break up because he realizes that this is not boom. She can't handle it, right? She can't handle it. And it almost destroys her to a degree to where, I don't know, she feels like life is over. She's depressed now, or maybe suicidal and all that stuff. In those situations, the man, being older, should recognize this girl is just too young. She's young. She's too young to deal with this kind of stuff. She can't handle it. This is not right. And no sex unless that should be involved anyway, period, right? That shouldn't be involved at all. But we know oftentimes that's not the reality. But especially if they get involved sexually, oh my God, the girl she's hooked. She's cooked. She's hooked and she's cooked, right? She becomes attached to him. And then her whole world falls apart when they break up. So that's why I think that it's probably not the best thing to do. You always should wait. Always should wait. Because even when she turns 18, the same thing should still happen. But it's not a good idea. And also, you can go to jail. You know what I mean? You can go to jail. And you don't want to take that chance. Even if you think it's genuine or whatever, you just don't want to take that chance because the world is so messed up that people will just tell on you. And it may not even be the mother, or maybe the sister can tell on you, get the police involved, and you're going to jail. Even if the daughter consented, you consented, the daughter didn't tell on, she loves you, you love her. It's too not on the side of men right now, period. So it's best to just wait in general, period. But that I've heard stories, people called into the show, ladies, and this was back in the day. I remember a lady called me and she said, when I found my husband, I was 14 years old. He was like, I don't know, 30. No, probably not that old. Like 25 to 28, right? And she said, I found my husband when I was 14 years old. We had babies right away, and we had a bunch of kids, and we're still married to this day, right? And she said that it worked, and it happened that way, and it worked out, and it wasn't inappropriate, according to her. It wasn't weird. There wasn't none of this stuff going on. It just was what it was. And I think that, especially back in the day, that was a possibility. That happened. And people are aware of that. And that it's not so much about, let me be smart about the words that I use here. It's not so much about this rule. It's more so much about common sense. It's more so much about understanding the situation. It's more so much about you knowing what's going on, right? I don't know what I don't think that back in the day when young girls were having children, and they were married to older men and all that stuff, it was because it was designed a certain way. It was designed a certain way in the sense that these men were maybe close to the family. They had the family knew them, and these men just guided the young daughters onto becoming a woman. And women back then, from what stories I've heard and stuff, they were just more mature, right? They were more well prepared in life. So then here comes another guy that courted them and guided them along their path, right? And allowed and didn't sexually exploit them, didn't do none of that stuff. That wasn't the desire at all. Zero. I'm not talking about at all. They weren't sitting up here thinking about that. They weren't all like in each other's face, kissy and love. I'm not talking about that. He courted the woman as she was young and helped her develop, and as she was entered into his world. And she just, before the world can change her mind or change her, the man was there to protect her. And he guided her on that path. And then they got married. And then they had a bunch of children. Right? And her mind was never corrupted because it passed from one daddy, from one man who was decent to another man that was decent. And I think that in a perfect world, that's that, right? That's possible, right? And that's the exception. But in the modern day, Lord have mercy, that's one out of a trillion. One of a trillion. So I think there are exceptions to the rule. Interesting stuff, huh? Interesting stuff. Interesting. I'm going to end the poll. You guys did the vote, and it looks like no is the answer. I will lean more towards no, because you don't want the mind to start making tricks. Oh, like, well. I'll lean more towards no, especially in modern times. Wait till she is grown. I'm not even going to say 18. Wait till she's grown. Wait till she's grown. It's best to just play it safe. Be smart. We don't live in the old days no more. But I was just saying. Anyway. Anyways. What a episode, huh? Good stuff. I'm out of time. American Anchor Baby is coming in right now. Make sure you guys tune in to Rick and the other callers. I can't get to you today. Oh, real quick super chats. I have like 30 seconds. C-Sal says 30-year-olds today aren't even good wives, much less a 15-year-old. Younger than 18 is illegal, period, point blank. I understand what you mean, C-Sal. I ain't disagreeing with that. She says, yes, there can be a great 17-year-old future wife. I get it, but Bible urges us to respect the laws of our nation. I ain't disagreeing. But I ain't putting a rule on it is what I'm saying. But I agree. Fair enough, Cesar. I appreciate it. And all that good stuff. American Anchor Baby's coming in. Thank you guys. That was fun. I'll be back here tomorrow. We get into some more mess. I got mess to bring you. Tomorrow's Relationships Wednesday. We'll get into it. And all that good stuff. Thank you guys. American Anchor Baby coming in. And tune in to all the other shows. All right, y'all. I gotta go. Bye.